Hello, I'm Dr. Mhairi Hale. I'm a lecturer at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland, and this paper is a collaboration with some of my former colleagues at the Max Planck Institute for Demographic Research in Germany and at the University of Michigan. So we actually originally set out to study trends in cognitive health expectancies to see whether lengthening life expectancies means that older age individuals in the US are spending more years in states of mild or severe cognitive impairment just simply because they live more years, or if perhaps onset of impairment is delayed. In other words, whether there's a compression in morbidity toward the end of life. In the course of estimating those health expectancies, we found our results were inconsistent with the literature. And the literature primarily paints an optimistic picture with regard to trends, suggesting that trends in cognitive impairment are declining. Because of this discrepancy, we temporarily set aside the health expectancies paper to further investigate the issue. As you'll be able to see in the paper when you read it, we determined it was related to what is called practice effects, sometimes called test effects or learning effects. This is a particular type of panel conditioning issue. In short, like many other researchers, we are using the health and retirement study, where respondents are interviewed every 2 years with identical or similar questions. So for example, they're given a list of 10 words and they have to recall those words immediately, and then they answer some other questions and then they recall them again. So they have immediate recall and delayed recall. And it turns out that people get better at test taking, even if they're not actually doing any better cognitively. Now, practice effects are well known in cognitive functioning research, but seem to be largely ignored when we estimate trends. There are some exceptions where other researchers consider practice effects, and those are noted in the paper, along with their findings. We spend most of the paper and a long supplementary appendix on robustness checks that we encourage you to review. The one that we found most convincing for skeptics, including ourselves, is where we model only those who have taken the test the same number of times. So for example, those who are taking their first test in 1996 to 98, 2000 to 2002, etc. We find either stable or increasing risk for each of these subsamples. You can look at this in figure 2 in the paper. In conclusion, our study suggests that the research has been overly optimistic about trends in cognitive impairment. The additional main implication is that practice effects must be taken into consideration when working with panel data to study trends in cognitive impairment. We look forward to your engagement with the study.